Good evening, PWCS families, and welcome back to the Family Engagement Series. My name is Yanette Boyd, and I'm the Supervisor for Family and Community Engagement. Tonight's session is Navigating Support Together, a Guide to the Parent Resource Center. Today's presentation will be recorded and will be presented in the requested languages of English, Spanish, Urdu, and Vietnamese. Once this interpretation slide has been reviewed by all the interpreters, we will begin interpretation. So if you're on your computer, you're going to look for the interpretation button on your control bar. Once you click on it, pick your desired language. Then your icon should change. If you're on your phone, click on the Join Audio and click Call over Internet. Click on the three dots and more. Click on Language Interpretation and click on the language you want and done. At this time, the Spanish interpreter will review the slides.
Buenas tardes, yo soy el intérprete de español. Para activar el servicio de interpretación, si está en la computadora, tienen que buscar el botón de interpretación en la barra de control de Zoom. Ahí se hace clic, se selecciona el lenguaje deseado y ahí el icono debería cambiar a ES, español. Si están en el teléfono, tienen que presionar el botón que dice unirse a audio o join audio y presionan la parte de llamadas por internet. Se presionan los tres puntitos y más, hacen clic en lenguaje e interpretación y hacen clic en el lenguaje que desean y listo.
Thank you. At this time, the Urdu interpreter will review the slides.
हाँ जी, हेलो जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। और मैं भी आप लोगों को ये बताऊंगी कि यहाँ पर जो ये पेशकश हो रही है ये कौन कौन सी ज़बानों में की जा रही है। अगर आप लोग अपने कंप्यूटर पे हैं और आप लोग वहाँ देखें कि एक तर्जुमानी का बटन है जो कि आपका जो एक कंट्रोल करने वाला बार है उसके ऊपर आपको नज़र आएगा। एक बार जब आप उसके ऊपर जाएंगे और आप लोग अपनी जो भी ज़बान है जिसमें आप सबसे ज़्यादा आप लोगों को अच्छी तरह समझ आता है, आप अपनी उस ज़बान को चुन लें। उसके बाद आपको एक आइकॉन नज़र आएगा और उस पर ये लिखा हुआ होगा कि आप उसको बदल दें। अगर आप लोग फ़ोन के ऊपर हैं तो आप लोग यहाँ से भी जुड़ सकते हैं। और वो यानी इस समय हो सकता है कि अगर आप लोग उसको क्लिक करेंगे और उसके ऊपर आप जाएंगे इंटरनेट के ऊपर, फिर आप लोग को तीन छोटे छोटे यानी नुक्ते नज़र आएंगे और उसमें लिखा होगा और। जब आप उसको दबाएंगे तो उस सूरत में आप लोगों को अपनी ज़बान नज़र आ जाएगी, जो जिस ज़बान में, जैसे आपकी उसमें उर्दू ज़बान में आप लोग सुनना चाहेंगे तो आप लोग उर्दू ज़बान चुन लेंगे। और जब ये सारा कुछ हो जाएगा तो फिर आप लोगों को तर्जुमानी जो है वो अंग्रेज़ी से अपनी ज़बान में सारी यानी कि आप लोग सुन पाएंगे। बहुत शुक्रिया। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। थैंक यू मैम।
Thank you. At this time, the Vietnamese interpreter will review the slide.
Nếu mà bạn dùng cái trên vi tính á, thì mình phải tìm cái chức năng thông dịch, sau đó mình bấm cái ngôn ngữ của mình, thì lúc đó mình mới thấy cái nút nó để là cái ngôn ngữ của mình thì mình lựa tiếng Việt, đó là trên vi tính. Còn trên điện thoại đó thì mình có thể để bấm chữ nhập audio hoặc là bấm chữ gọi qua mạng, sau đó có ba dấu chấm đó sẽ cho mình có cái chức năng gọi là ngôn ngữ, thì lúc đó mình sẽ lựa cái ngôn ngữ bằng tiếng Việt. Thank you.
Thank you. Interpretation will now begin. You may click on the interpretation button. So at this time, I would like to welcome our presenter for the evening. Joining us today, we have Ms. Eleanor Contreras. She is the Parent Resource Center and Family Engagement Coordinator, and she will be doing our presentation for this evening. Welcome, Eleanor.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. As mentioned, I am the Family Engagement Coordinator for the Parent Resource Center. I'm also the Special Education Parent and Family Liaison designated for Prince William County. So I'm so excited to share with you my position and how I help support families, staff members, and community members here in our county. So let's begin. So you know, like every good teacher, we have to have learning objectives. And I wanted to share with you that our two main objectives tonight are to create an awareness of what exactly is the Parent Resource Center and how can I help support families. And we're also going to talk a little bit about family engagement and how we can find ways to be engaged in Prince William County schools and how the Parent Resource Center can help with that student engagement. So there's many, many ways that families can be involved. So connecting a little bit to the big idea of support in Prince William County schools. So Prince William County is just recently completing what's called the PWCS Vision 2025, which has been our countywide strategic plan. And you can see right there, there's the snapshot of the first page. The vision is that every student will graduate on time with the knowledge, skills, and habits of mind necessary to create a thriving future for themselves and their community. And so much of what this Vision 2025 strategic plan talks about is partnerships with families to help support student achievement. So I wanted to share a little bit more about that because the work of the Parent Resource Center directly supports the strategic plan. And we are in the process of writing a new one, but this is what we're currently working under. And the new one, of course, will just elevate and enhance the work that we are already doing. So there's 4 commitments in the strategic plan. The first one is learning and achievement for all, positive climate and culture, family and community engagement, and organizational coherence. And that really means that no matter how large a school system is, it means that all the departments that support students at schools and schools are working together with one mission, which you just heard me read. The mission is that our students graduate on time and are successful. So specifically under family and community engagement, we have 3 objectives, and I'm just going to highlight them quickly for you here, but it's we engage families as authentic partners in education to support academic progress. We also work collaboratively with community agencies and business partners to support the strategic initiatives. And lastly, we ensure honest, two-way, transparent communication between families, schools, and partnerships and to foster those trusted relationships. And I'm going to really highlight that because that really is the key mission of the Parent Resource Center. And you're going to hear when I talk more specifically about the Parent Resource Center mission and vision, how that aligns to the work that we do in the county. So I wanted to share some old, but still very, very relevant quotes about parental involvement and like, why is parental involvement and family and community partnerships so important? And so I'm going to read this first one to you. The most accurate predictors of student achievement in school are not family income or social status, but the extent to which the family creates a home environment for the child's achievement and becomes involved in the child's education at school. So that's like the big why. Why is parent and family involvement so important? And why do we want you to be engaged in schools? And it's because we want kids to succeed and we want them to be successful. The second quote, though, is what really the research stops me in my tracks because I just think it's so powerful, which is why I keep sharing it everywhere I go. And that's when parents and families are involved at school, the performance of all the children, not just their own child, tends to improve. And so the more comprehensive and strategic the partnership between home and schools and communities, the higher the student achievement are. as achieved. So we certainly want that for our students, and we want them to have that wraparound support that can help them be successful in school and after school in the community. So just, a common question I get is, how does a family become involved and engaged with a school? And there are many, many, many ways to become engaged and involved in school activities. And I wanted to just highlight a few. Of course, attending school and functions, that's really important. You can volunteer for your child's school. But just a heads up, volunteering doesn't always mean attending school during the day. It could be doing an activity with your child at night and helping, I used to call it parent homework, helping a teacher putting some things together for a school project later on. So know that volunteering doesn't necessarily have to be an activity during the school day, because many families like me, like myself, we work during the day. It's difficult to volunteer during the day, but those are just some examples. Of course, becoming involved and educated in school resources. My tip there is always read school newsletters. It's very, very important to stay on top of what's going on in school and feel connected in the school community. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say, make sure that you're connected with special education resources, because as the Parent Resource Center, I specialize in disability resources for families. And so learn about the process and educate yourself as a parent for your rights. Communicate with your child's teacher. It could be emails, could be phone calls, but communicate with them to let them know what's going on with your child, and don't hesitate to ask questions. They want that partnership so that they can share what's going on and keep you posted on how your child is doing in school. And then, of course, thinking about their child's day. One of the most important things that you can ask your child is school-specific things going on in their day. And I'm going to give you a hint, and I'm guilty of this at times because I forget. But my hint is don't ask your child a generic question like, how was your day? Because they will inevitably answer with a very generic response like, it was okay. Or if you said, what did you do today? Nothing. I promise you they did not do 7.5 hours of nothing. You need to be really specific. So you need to say, what did you eat in lunch today? What game did you play in PE? What book are you reading in language arts? So those are the kind of questions, those specific questions that will help you get a snapshot into your child's day and really connect with what they're learning and be able to enhance it at home. And then, of course, seek assistance. If you're here, I love it because you're learning about resources and how I can provide assistance to you. And then, of course, true family engagement is a two-way street. So we want your feedback and we want your partnership in the schools. And so we not only want you to attend events, we want your partnership to help plan events and to co-create and co-make some decisions together so that we can truly be that partnership in your child's education. So what exactly is a Parent Resource Center? That's a great question. I get a lot of questions about that. So let me share a little bit about Parent Resource Centers, or as we call them for short, PRCs. So there are about 40 PRCs in Virginia, and the sole job of Parent Resource Centers is to foster collaborative connections between families of students with disabilities and their schools. So we assist families by providing resources, training, support. We also work collaboratively with the Virginia Department of Education to support training across the state and technical assistance to not only families, but also educators and community members. So our goal is to have those positive outcomes for students with disabilities. Here is the mission statement of the Parent Resource Center. And it's much of what I said, and you can see here how it's alignment with the larger mission statement of Prince William County Schools. And it's to assist parents and families of children with disabilities to become actively engaged in their child's education through information, empowerment, and encouragement. So when you think about the Parent Resource Center, who exactly do I serve? And so the first one is I serve families with children who receive special education services in Prince William County. I also serve, though, families with children suspected of having a disability who receive general education services in Prince William County. So it might be that you call me and ask for help because you're suspecting your child might have a disability and you're not really sure what to do next. I also serve staff in Prince William County. So I work with them to gather resources on disabilities, resources on community services, and also just educate them on different processes in special education. And then lastly, I serve community members in Prince William County seeking information about disabilities in children or in the special education process. So as you can see, I pretty much serve everyone in Prince William County. I never turn anyone away who's looking for help. So how do you contact the Parent Resource Center? The first thing I want you to know is that all the services we provide in the Parent Resource Center are free. If you need an interpreter, happy to get you one for free. There's never a cost associated with anything for the Parent Resource Center. So I put my contact information there. I have my phone number, you can reach me. And of course, there is an online website appointment request. And I'll talk about the appointment a little bit later. So types of appointments. There are 3 different types of appointments that you can request at the Parent Resource Center. There's a telephone appointment. There's a virtual appointment, a little bit like what we're doing right now. And then you can come see me in person and we can meet in person. I do ask that you make an appointment because the consultations are really important. I want to make sure that we have an uninterrupted time to discuss your concern, your question, your request for resources without any interruptions. And I want to make sure I'm here because I do support the entire county. And so I'm often out in schools supporting communities. Appointments are available typically between 8 and 4:30 each day, but I certainly can take special requests for different circumstances. I am located at the Edward L. Kelly Leadership Center in Bristow, off Bristow Road in Manassas, Virginia. And there's a fun picture of we call it the KLC building. And then I wanted to give you a little sneak peek inside the Parent Resource Center. So the Parent Resource Center is actually comprised of several different spaces. We do have a lending library in the Parent Resource Center in our Welcome Center. And then there's a little picture of our Welcome Center as people come to meet with me, that's where they would go. We also have a consultation space where I meet with families privately so that they, again, can share any information with me in a confidential manner that they're seeking. And we do have a conference room for larger meetings or professional development. So you heard me mention confidential consultations. What exactly is that? So confidential consultations are something that I do as a main component of my job, and they're neutral and it's an informal process designed to empower parents and families in their own decision-making process. That's really important to remember. When we're having a consultation, I am not a decision maker. Parents are the ultimate decision maker. I listen during those consultations to parent questions, concerns, and then I provide direct assistance to navigate the educational processes and the array of resources inside Prince William County or at times outside of Prince William County if the parent is seeking community resources. So just a couple considerations about those consultations. As a neutral and informal party, I am not allowed to serve as an advocate for parents in school interventions, in IEPs, or eligibility meetings, or attend a state mediation or due process hearing. I'm not allowed to attend those meetings. I'm also not allowed to provide legal services or representation. So families often ask me, what are some of the topics that someone would request for a consultation with you? So I listed just a few ideas, but there are many, many, many topics that families meet with me about. First one is just navigating special education. PRCs help families understand their rights under IDEA and Virginia's special education regulations. So I kind of inform about the process, what to expect, so that families go to those IEP tables feeling like they understand the next steps and what's going to go on. I also offer the IEP individual education program support. And again, while not an advocate, I do offer resources and coaching to help parents prepare for those specific IEP meetings and questions that they might have. As mentioned before, and promoting positive relationships, that building relationships is key because we want to foster positive connections between families and schools to improve student outcomes. And then you heard me mention before, community linkages is another key component of my position in the consultation piece of my job, and that I do help families connect to different local disability agencies, advocacy groups, support networks. Sometimes it's specialized childcare. Sometimes it's different websites that might provide additional information on types of disabilities. It really is a little bit of everything under the sun, based on what the parent's asking for. But I would say those are some of the big bucket things that I help families navigate. So I mentioned before in the picture that we do have a lending library of books on different topics related to special education and parenting. We have many, many website resources, brochures, booklets curated to support particular need. And then we have adapted games available for checkout. So families might want to check out a game. It could be a large print game or Braille game. We do have different activities that families can check out to engage with their child. So another component of my position in the Parent Resource Center is that I lead, like this one, workshops and webinars for families. So we have a variety of different venues that we use to provide this information. We have virtual virtual webinars like we do tonight. We also host in-person workshops and then division-wide special education conferences as well. We help support that. Which leads me to say, save the date. I wanted to let you know that February 28th, 2026 is going to be our division-wide special education conference at Patriot High School this year. So if you're interested, put a little mark on that calendar, because as we get closer to that date, we'll send out information. But if you have not attended the division-wide special education conference, I would encourage you to attend. It's a wide variety of resources that can really help you get information from preschool through really life after high school. So I would encourage you to attend that. It's full of information by many sessions, like different seminars and resource fair. Just wanted to share a little bit about the parent resource data from last year. So last year, the Parent Resource Center coordinated about 59 family workshops and professional development sessions. We had close to 2,000 workshop participants. You can see 1,809 to be specific. And the fun thing that I think is so great, and I love it, is that 96% of workshop participants would recommend attending the PRC workshop. So that tells me that families are getting that information that they're seeking, which is so important. And then the other thing that I think is just a wonderful data point is if families attend one session, about half of them, 49%, come back for even more sessions. So it's so important to continue that wide variety of workshops for families to engage in different topics. The Parent Resource Center also supports numerous community events to support local individual schools and organizations. So that's an example of a Parent Resource Center table, and you'll see me in September, and you've probably already seen me at different back to school fairs, back to school nights, community pop-up fairs. We really partner with our community to ensure that families and community members know that the Parent Resource Center is there to support them and give them requested resources. So this is a little snapshot of the website, but I'm going to tell you, don't need to worry about going to the website because I screenshotted part of the website so that you didn't have to try to navigate 2 screens. So I want to shift now to the Parent Resource Center website because that is a resource for you. And I took pictures of different parts of the website so that you'd be able to see it. So you can see here that there's a family engagement survey. Then you're welcome to click on, well, not click on this particular screen, but if you visit the website, you can click on that and give me feedback on types of different classes you'd like to see at the Parent Resource Center. I also ask questions like, is night or day better for you? So lots of ways that you can give feedback to me in order to increase and enhance our programming. Also wanted to highlight on the right side, there is the request an appointment button. So you can request an appointment with me right there. And that allows us to coordinate and find a mutual time to meet. And then you can see some of the different tabs on the left side. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. One of the things that the Parent Resource Center is known for is our summer camp list. And I know summer camp's already gone. We're back in the fall now, but as we go through the year, I will update this. And what's nice is it not only has a nationwide special needs camps and summer programs search, so that if you're in Connecticut, you can look for special needs camps there. But it also has camps divided by different types of disabilities. So camps that specialize in those different types of disabilities. So that is an option for you as well if you're interested in finding some resources for your child. And again, we update that periodically throughout the year, but it mostly gets updated in the spring. Mentioned here the appointment, the request an appointment, and then you'll notice we have the survey button I mentioned, and then there's always a button saying upcoming workshops and webinars. This is an example of when you click on that button or you go to the events page. We update it by month, usually comes out the last week of the month or the first week of the month. And we will have all of our events translated into the major languages in Prince William County. I also wanted to draw your attention to this button here on the right side of the screen. It's navy blue and it says past workshops. If you're curious about some of the past workshops that have been done in the Parent Resource Center, feel free to take a look at that. And many families do. And then they say, oh, Ms. Contreras, could you please bring back the toilet training workshop? We're really interested in seeing that. And so oftentimes I will get requests after people view past workshops for workshops to continue for the next year. So that's a great way to just kind of get a little shopping guide of some of the workshops that we've done in the past. So I wanted to let you know that we are not having questions tonight, but I wanted to put up the information that if you ever want to ask me a question, request a consultation, or just need my contact information, it's right here on the slide. And I would love to meet with you and support you in any way that I can. We always are finding ways to promote the Parent Resource Center and to ensure that families and staff and community members are feeling supported and informed of the special education process. And so I want to thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you so much, Eleanor. And just please know that the PowerPoint presentation, the video recording, and Ms. Contreras' contact information will be provided to you all in a follow-up email. I did also put the link to the workshops, information for the Parent Resource Center. And then Ms. Contreras was kind enough to donate a couple of giveaways. So we will be doing just random drawing for our participants of just a couple of goodie bags that you can have. And so I will be reaching out to those that participated today. It'll be random. And so we'll have a few of you who will get a goodie today for attending today. And so at this time, we will be placing the survey in the chat. I do ask, similar to what Eleanor said, we always welcome feedback and we want to know what you'd like to see in the future. And so please just take a few minutes to fill that out. I will also send it as part of the follow-up email if you don't have the opportunity to do it today. And so thank you so much, Ms. Contreras, for joining us today. And thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you.
You ready for me to end it? You're not.